Welcome to Bible Bites. My name is Kathy, and I'm glad that you've joined me for today. Today's story is about Jesus in the temple, and it can be found in the Bible in Luke chapter 2, verses 41 through 52. Now, at this time in Jesus' life, he was about 12 years old, and his mom and his dad and many of the people were going to Jerusalem for a celebration. At that time, the kids would kind of travel together and hang out and walk together, and the adults would hang out and walk together, all going to the same place. So as they went there, they did their celebrations. They went to a temple, which is very much like a church, and they prayed, they praised, they learned from God's word. And at that time, they didn't have books like Bibles like this. They used scrolls. And so everything was written on the scrolls. And basically, it was the high priests that could read these scrolls. And they would learn about God and be reminded of how God helped them through their time and all the things that God did for them. So when it gets to be time to go home, everybody's leaving. And Mary and Joseph, Jesus' parents, thought Jesus was with them. However, when they got far down the road, they realized that Jesus wasn't with the kids. So they turned around and ran back. Can you imagine if you're in the grocery store or Target or whatever, and your child's not with you, how that feeling of panic? Well, they ran back to Jerusalem and they looked all over the place. And Jesus, they found him in the temple, listening and talking with the priests that were there. Jesus, at the age of 12, knew who he was. He knew he was Jesus. And he said in there, didn't you think of where I would be? And he knew this was his place. Now, as Jesus is growing, and you don't hear a whole lot about his life between when he was in the temple and then when he was an adult, but we know that he knew in his heart who he really was. And something that you can do with your children is you can bring them to church, the temple, help them to learn to pray, to praise, to learn about God's word. You can have them tour around the church, because many times they will only see where the worship center, or they may go to Sunday school. But there are so many other places in the church, the music room, the place where you may have coffee, the kitchen area, the office area. Help them learn the church that your child goes to, and help them know that it's okay to be at church. Through this next week, remember that Jesus is with you always. He loves you. He loves your child. And he is there to worship, praise, and pray too. May God's love be in our hearts, in our mouths, in our minds. May God's love work through our hands and lead us in every way.